Hello, happy Monday, May 1st, Apple afternoon. I was gonna say Apple noon. Oh my goodness. So we've got some exciting things happening. FRC, we've got some exciting news to be reported this week. We're gonna have an exciting week and it's already started off well. For those that do subscribe to my morning watch list, which you can see right here, we did have some amazing trade setups this morning, and I also was teaching, just wrapped up teaching in the darkpools.com training pit. So if you guys want to learn more about the dark pools, what are they, why are they important, and how to profit, come on over and check us out at thedarkpools.com. If you'd like to subscribe for my watch list in the mornings, just sign up as a member, or you can also go to my website, cjanetrade.com, and see it on there as well. All right. I might have a little bit of a troll here. Let's see if they will behave. If not, you're getting the boot. All right. So let's look first. Let's look at what we have for the week for the announcements. So going into the week today, nothing too much. This is just the US numbers that I have selected here. Tomorrow we have JOLTS job openings, factory orders, and Ward total vehicle sales. The big one coming up on Wednesday, FOMC federal funds rate, and the press conference afterwards. They're anticipating a 0.25% move. We shall see. With FRC, JP Morgan, everything that we had going on there. We have unemployment claims coming up on Thursday the 4th, but the big one that is not even on here now is the mortgage rates. Did they post it and then they just sort of fluffed over it? No, they haven't posted it. They were supposed to post it May 4th. We're supposed to put the mortgage bankruptcy rates in here. I did see something posted that it is already up 22%. Got a lot of rain here today. So, you know, May rain up here in Canada brings June flowers. But the mortgage bankruptcy rate, wow, they did not post it here. Sneaky, sneaky. Let's see what they have. I've never looked at this, the metals calendar. What do we have going on for the metals calendar coming up? Manufacturing numbers. That's it, May. Nothing too much. I've never looked at that. Interesting. Okay, so for today, nothing really. We did have a lot of European banks. Let's go back to the Forex calendar there. They did have banks that were on holiday today in the UK, and it's very weird that I just have the US one. Here we go. Let's go there. Apply. All right. Absolutely love Forex Factory. You can see there were a lot of European holidays happening today, so not as much money necessarily in the market right now. For our fear and greed indicator, we are hanging out at 62, a bit greedy. We do have that $1.5 trillion bill to be voted on. Will that get passed? Maybe that's part of the bump up that we saw last week going into the end of the week, as well as some earnings. We do have Apple coming up on Thursday for earnings reports, some big earnings. So let's get into the list that we have for today. If you have any questions, anything that you'd like to see me pull up as far as a stock chart, please put it in the comment section or in the chat and we will check it out. Also, big news today, 6:40 a.m. this morning, saw that silver had a mini short squeeze. We squeezed up, we tested this area of resistance before, 26.12 strong resistance, and proved resistance again today. We have seen, it looks like the point of control for today, since this big run up, was highest at 25.53. Now we are down here at 25.19. It looks like that flipped recently. 12.50 to be down here at 25.20. Also over here on the 24-hour chart, hanging around the 4 and the 8. I would watch to see if we break below 25, potential move down to 24.40 on metals. We are seeing that the dollar index is testing that 33 exponential moving average as well up here. Are we going to roll over? I like to look at this on a 3-day chart. It does tend to typically ride below this 8 exponential moving average. We hit the 200 exponential and reverse. So are we going to break above 102.50? That would likely mean that we would see the metals and commodities drop in value. We do have some bigger oil name stocks reporting this week as well. So let's get into the list. Let's look at the SPY for today on a 24-hour chart. We are pretty extended away. Rough risk management down here to 414.25. We are up $3.40 higher than that. So there's a good possibility that we could have a bit of a retracement here. Let's look at the 45-minute chart. I love the 45-minute chart. You can see every time it really exceeds away, it comes back close to this 33 exponential, and many times it will come back to that 161 exponential moving average, roughly 412.33. So looking to see, are we going to retrace back down with anticipation of the FOMC announcement coming out later this week? We did have a big move up. How do we end on the day? I did say if we go above 416.12, potential bullish trade there, did perform quite nicely. Also for the Qs, if we go above 322.60, and yes, we did. Look at how it respects that 33 exponential on the 45-minute chart. The Russell, we have seen a big move. Wow, almost hit that. We hit that trend line on the 45-minute. That would be the bigger picture. If we break above that, all right, that's 2,000 stocks. Looks like the market is bullish right now. We are in a bit of a bearish trend still, hitting that 33 exponential and selling off from there. Dow Jones, we are testing the breakout area over here. Are we going to see a breakout up above, I'd say really 343? Looks like that would give us a bigger pop to 344, up to 346.80. And then if we can break out from above 350, all the way up to 364 over here with that bigger trend line. All right. Let's see. Let's go on to Sophie for today. Whoop. So Sophie did have earnings pre-market. The movement was up on the name. However, like most other financial institutions, big move up and then a sell-off. Quite a short trade there below 640. All the way down to 547 today. So a nice dollar move to the downside on a penny stock. That's pretty big. You're looking at 20% right there on the name from 640 down, right? 640 down to 540, $1, a little bit less, 18%. From close yesterday, not as much, 623 down. You're only looking at 8% there. All right, JP Morgan today. Big news on JP Morgan. They did buy out First Republic Bank. So what's going on, right? We're seeing that, I've talked about this numerous times before, about the banks having zero money, right? So JP Morgan, tier 1 bank, buying a more local tier 2 or 3, 4 bank of the First Republic, smaller deposits, buying not only assets, pennies on the dollar, but also debt. So what happens? These bigger banks come in, they buy this debt, pennies on the dollar, and then they are asking for it to be paid out, not pennies on the dollar. Why? Does that seem fair to the people that have debt with these companies, debt with these banks? Does that seem fair to you? That they can buy the debt pennies on the dollar and then receive payment? That's where the asset value is, because the shareholders themselves lose out. The customers that have their money in the bank that can't access it, they're losing out a bit. And then the people that have debt, well, guess what? They lose out because JP Morgan buys it pennies on the dollar and they want full payment on it. That doesn't seem fair, does it? Anyway, I wasn't so much into banking back in 2008 and 7, 8, and 9. Now I understand. These banks love buying the debt pennies on the dollar. That's what these bank mergers are. We're buying debt pennies on the dollar to receive full payment. Seems like that's not really in the best interest of the customers, is it? Sounds like it's in the interest of the banks. All right, so JP Morgan, yes, they just created wealth out of nothing, and it had a bit of a short trade earlier. Let's look at it on the 15-minute chart here. Whoops, not 153, 15, right? So look at how it's respecting that 33 exponential. Should we drop below, which we are right now, should we drop below 141.50? Probably a pretty good move, $2 to the downside. Just had Biden come out and saying he wants to see more support for the banks. This is now the third bank default in 2023. And yet the customers are still able to access their money. So it doesn't seem like it's really affecting the customers much, except for the panic that happened with Silicon Valley Bank. But we are seeing that these banks are consolidating. Some of them are folding because of the bigger money panicking and taking their money out of the shares, out of the stock market. So maybe it's a scenario where we're going to see the bank stocks drop, but the banks will survive or they will be bought out. Just a thought. So maybe it's more the tier 1 banks that are going to survive this, as they are going to eat up all the little banks. Just thinking out loud. All right, AMD. Right here, checking out AMD. AMD had a nice short trade below 89.80 today, down to 88.60. Nice dollar trade to the downside. Now it's consolidating. Fairly similar to what's going on with, no, actually completely wrong. Qs are still holding quite high. So AMD did have that downward drop. Also saw ON Semiconductors report earnings today. They are surging higher. So many times when you see one semiconductor do well, it affects the others. We are actually in a breakout, it looks like, on ON at the moment. If we break above 77.80, likely bigger move up. We'll test 78 and then on up to 78.40 over here on the daily chart. All right, let's look at Snappy Snap. Snap had earnings 2 days ago, sideways price action. We did have nice move to the upside. I said, hey, if it goes up above 888, look at that. Selling wicks and selling wicks. That was a pretty good resistance zone area today. We did not even test $9. All right, let's look at Hootie. Sounds like Hootie and the Blowfish. So Hootie, a lower float with 4.23 million. Also had top on the list, or one of the names over the big movers today. However, this is fairly similar. Sympathetic trading below 720, potential short trade back down to 542, or on the 5-minute chart, even potentially lower. Lower down over here, 612, and then down to 387. So if we do break below 612, I think you're going to see quite a quick drop for those low float short sellers down to 380. It'll pummel down to 380. All right, let's look at PacWest, another Pacific bank that was affected by Silicon Valley Bank. So it was First Republic and Pacific West were the two big names that were affected by Silicon Valley Bank. We're seeing that this is testing support. It did fail earlier and it dropped down 50 cents to $9. Bigger buying that's here at 9.23. If I were looking to short this, I would prefer to do it below 9.23. If it does pull back down, that's likely the area that it will find support and I would like to cover. This is the volume visible volume profile right here on the chart, creating those lines. Apple stock today as well, breaking out up above 170. We have broken out above this downward trend. So a trend change for the bigger picture. If we look on it on a weekly chart, you'll see it in a bigger picture. We have broken out of that downward trend that we have been in for quite a while. Last week was a close nicely above it. Are we going to come back and test that 167 area? There's a chance, right? And look at how we respect these 161 and 200 exponential moving averages right here. Maybe part of the reason why on the cover of Barron's today. Let's look at this. Barron's magazine covers for today, that we do have, oops, that's not what I wanted. Go back and let's go here. Open the image so we have a nice big image. Buffett's Berkshire is a buy. Page 11, but we're teeter-tottering. We've got the market, it's up in the clouds, everything is good, it's a bright shining day, and then we have this waterfall, ice wall, whatever you want to call it. It looks like everything's going smoothly, slippery slope, boom, we're going to drop. 10th hike, it's very difficult. The Fed has put itself in quite a situation with inflation rampant out of control, and now it looks like we could see a bigger drop. Is this going to be a freeze of the Fed, a cutoff of the Fed? What's your interpretation? Put it in the comments below. All right, Apple surging higher, point of control right now at 169.96, just below 170. Looking for this to test over at 172. If we break above 172, above that, next test area would be at 174.29, and then up to 175. All right, let's check out Coinbase. Coinbase tends to trade sympathetically to Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin pulling back today. We did see lots of money go in over the weekend into Bitcoin, seeing it surge higher. Coinbase moved up on Friday. Now we're seeing it pull back again. Bitcoin dropping as well. And this had a beautiful trade below 52.80 today, down to 48.40. Look at that. So these levels perform really nicely. All you have to do is set up some alerts, in my opinion. Yep, you got it, Nad. We'll check it out. Let me do Meta. So Meta, think about it, metadata, meta crawler, all these metas to do with websites. And yet they changed their name to Meta for the metaverse, right? Tying everything into the internet. So today had potential for a little short trade pop this morning, but really, long trade pop. And then a nice short trade fading into 11:30 close of the European market, rebounding on up. Are we going to see the shorts get squeezed at 2 o'clock with margin calls and squeeze this up higher? It is hanging out up at the high of the year for, right? 240.60. Yep, hanging out at the high for the year. So are we going to fill this gap? Look at that, up above 243. You know there's some people watching this ready for that move up to 290. That's pretty massive, right? So are we going to see it reverse just at 243? There's a good chance we could see some sellers step in. I think Thursday is really going to be a huge moving day for the market. So we're just going to have to see. Let's check out Tesla. All right, so Tesla today came down, hitting a trend line over here on last Wednesday, the 26th, rebounding. We are having a retracement move up, looking at resistance over here at 165.30 on the day as an intraday trade right now. Looks like this 200 exponential is holding as resistance at 161 and 200 at 162.28. We have our point of control. It just flipped here to 162.18. Next point of control down would be roughly over here, 161.30. So we might have a little bit of a short trade down here to 161.30. All right, there you go. Is that you, Nad? Are you doing that? Are you crashing this down? Let's see. All right, and SWAV. So Shockwave, medical supplies. All right, so for Shockwave, typically does not have that much volume right now. It has 36 million in the float. Looks like point of control right here is down at 288.51. Looking for potential breakout on the daily chart over here. I would look for confirmation up above 292. Yeah, 292 right there. So if it can close up above 292, likely a bigger move up. However, at this point, we've seen selling once, twice, 3, 4 times right around there. So my opinion, going long, I would wait for a close above 292. If we move this forward to see the path of point of control, yep, 291.50 for the day up here, higher volume. It's up above us, 291.40. So I would look for it to close up above that. Otherwise, I would be short on this to go and head back down. Bigger picture from yesterday or Friday, down to 287.70, which is where it tested earlier this morning and bounced. All right, any other stocks you would like to check out? Just put it in the comments. Let's also look at the dollar. We did that bit of retracement happening. We shall see what is going on. I think the biggest eyes that we are on is with Wednesday. What happens with the Fed meeting that's going to happen on Wednesday? I just want to see more. I'll look at it and give you guys the update on mortgage default rates if I can find more information. Last time, or if I go here, mortgage. No, it's not giving it to me. Delinquency. Oh, I'm on caps. Delinquency. No. United States delinquency mortgages. in a glance. No, I don't want to download that. All right. So I'll find it for us and we will see. Oh, search events. Here we go. That's what I want. Mortgage delinquencies. All right. Mortgage delinquencies, February. They have not given us, it should be every 3 months, quarterly. May 5th, so maybe it's going to come out on the 15th. And you can see we have not had this sort of increase since back in 2009. So rates were jumping at the same time. I'm actually going to do a comparison chart month over month or quarter over quarter for interest rates, so we can see the rate hikes versus that. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have an amazing rest of your trading day. Carpe profit, seize those profits one trade at a time. Get ready for a volatile week. We might see tomorrow be a little bit slower with volatile price action today. So keep that in mind as you are setting up for the trading day tomorrow.